Hi, friends. It's June the 9th, 2024. Well, let's talk about sex. We're going to talk about sex and men and women and the stages of life. Didn't think I'd be considering this as a topic, but let's go ahead. Let's talk about my health class in high school. He says, I'm going to tell you, teacher told me, and the rest of the class, we're going to talk about sex. And he warned us. He said, we'll talk about sex every day in health, in the health class. The only promise I need from you is you don't go home and tell your parents about this, because if you do, there'll be no more discussion about sex. Well, this is an interesting thing he said then, and I don't know if it was the 11th grade, 10th grade, or 12th grade of high school. He said, talking about boys in particular, at least that's what well, it was a boys' class. It's a boys' class, so yeah, boys' health class. So it would be this. He said, you all will be thinking about having sex so many times a minute. I thought about it. I thought about it pretty well. I'm thinking, I don't think you're missing the boat on that. We're thinking about sex so many times a minute. Now, I could be off on that because you understand, I'm we're talking we're talking about the 70s, 1970s. So my memory's not so clear, but I remember he went down the stages of life and told about at different levels of life, we'll think about it less and less and less, and then we'll be thinking about other things much more. Don't remember what he quite said, but he might have said work, he might have said health problems, he might have said getting ready to die. I don't remember, but we didn't talk about the women because that was another class. Okay, so what I found very interesting was he was right on target, and all the way through the stages of life, um, the peak of this was in of thinking about sex had to have been in the 20s and 30s. It starts in the teens, 20s and 30s. Then work gets in the way, and then bad marriages get in the way. And with bad marriages, sometimes no sex gets in the way. Okay, so we're covering this pretty fast right now, aren't we? Let's also talk about the other parts of a man's aging, and you'll see this so often on TV. You've seen the Us Too movement. That's when one of the older guys got caught for having sex with a younger lady. And it could be politics, it could have been less likely acting and singing, but includes that too. They're getting convicted too. Um, it's a Me Too movement, not Us Too, Me Too. So whoever broke the news that they had been sexually abused, woman sexually abused, um, other women came forward and said they were sexually abused too. We got a little bit of that stuff going on in court right now, and you do know what I'm talking about if you're watching this right now. We're talking about paying hush money to hide having sex with a adult film star. Yeah. So we're on the same page now, aren't we? You know what I'm talking about. Now, notice this. I like this cup even though I have Coke in it. So what we've got going is that here comes Bill Cosby, and he had been putting drugs, date drug. I'm not sure what you call them, but you put them in when the person steps out to go to the restroom. You put the pill in. It's a date rape drug. I have had to deal with this in my past work as a psychologist and a marriage and family therapist, and guy went to prison for it. They date raped a cheerleader, and at least the one I saw and interviewed went to prison. So Bill Cosby went to prison for a few years for the same thing, but he was stupid. He was stupid enough that I heard that he announced it on one of the talk shows. Just pop that pill and the drink and have a good time afterwards. And then there was a film producer, forgot his name. I'm not sure if he's in or out of prison right now, but he said to be part of the family, we all hang out together and you'll be a star. And many of them became stars, actually. He's independent. Can't think of his name because I never followed his productions. But he did go to prison. He wouldn't care if it was in a car that he participated in, or if he got the person. Now, if it was in a car, he probably didn't get him date raped. Not date rape, but he didn't put the pill in their drink. But the other ones he did, he would maybe take them to a restaurant. Arrangements were already made with the restaurant owner, and while they were eating, he would perhaps put the drug into the what they were drinking, either when they turned around and looked at something or left for a minute. He dropped that pill in and talked about it. Bill Cosby. Now, the fact that he admitted this on a talk show is not too smart for maybe a man with a PhD from college, but it got him a free trip to prison. But then all of a sudden, here continues the Me Too movement. Those weren't the only two. There were so many that came forward, because to be part of his movies, he had to entertain them and talk to them, and then he had his way of having fun. And I think he's out of prison now because of health problems. I don't think it was worth it. I really don't think it was worth it. And the actor or the producer of the movies also had health problems, and I think he's out of prison now, but I'm not for sure. So those are just two I want to talk about. These are the stages of life. Now, usually at that time, you're operating on power of what you can do for a lady. You're no longer operating on looks. Let me share what I've observed. How many football players or basketball players, baseball players, good-looking guys, famous guys, still in their youth, a six-pack body, chest. How many of them, other than Tiger Woods, have gotten into trouble? Can you name one? Now, we've got a turn right now. We're talking about stages. This wasn't quite what I meant by stages, but it is a stage. We're going through a stage now of rap singers and other singers taking advantage of girls, and the girls coming forward. And I haven't been keeping up with them because I'm not into rap music, but I do know this. I have listened to girls that said they were told they weren't going to make it in the music industry unless they went to bed with their producer or their trainer or whoever worked with them. They weren't going to make it. This is how you do it. This is how you become famous. Some of them took them up. Some of them didn't. And some of the ones that didn't became #1 hit singers. Michael Jackson actually fired one of his staff because they told one of the singers, if you don't go to bed with me, you can't make it in this industry. So he fired him. Good for him. Can't think of the lady's name, the singer's name. There were so many that were good back then There were good singers in the 60s and 70s and 80s. I don't know what's gone wrong. Well, anyhow, there's been a there's been a turnaround to where the producers, record producers, are and managers are telling women that the new way to become well known, and I don't know too much about this other than what I've seen on YouTube and what I've heard on the actual songs themselves. I want you to listen to something called "Paint the Paint the Streets Red." Listen to "Paint the Streets Red." I've listened to that song probably about 40 times because they're playing it about every 40 minutes on every station, every 30 minutes probably. And listen to the lyrics. What we have going on, I believe, and I'm not accusing her of being making a pact with the devil to become famous, although it could be interpreted that way. It's not hinted. It could be interpreted that way. The new stage of becoming famous might be to take a vow with Satan. It's called selling your soul to Satan. And started in Hollywood. Hollywood, it must be the mecca of beginning singers, as well as beginning everything else that you can imagine would be fun to watch or see or hear. Selling your soul to the singer. I mean, to Satan. I listened to a couple testimonies where girls were almost famous, and this one girl said she was hitting it, hammering it, as far as going up in the tubes, tubes of fame. And her manager said, "Come over here. Let's sit down at the bench and talk for a while." And he says, "If you sell your soul to the devil right now, you'll be famous instantly, starting tomorrow." She thought about it. Her background was Christian. She said, "No, I'm not going to do it." She left, and he said, "Okay." He didn't say, "You'll be sorry." He just said, "Okay." So see, she's gone into Christian music now. She's left the pop and the rap and gone into Christian music. I just share that with you to let you know what's going on in Hollywood and any place where you can become famous. I had the privilege of this is a bonus. Tony Fontaine. You never hear him anymore because he's dead. But I got the only book on my iPad that was written before his sister died. But at Western Kentucky University, he was a famous singer, Tony Fontaine, and he was giving a preaching revival at a Methodist church. I'm not Methodist. It doesn't matter. I don't care what kind of denomination a person is. I tell you the truth, I think I've been to them all except for two or three. Can't tell the difference. Not really if the person's preaching right. Okay. So Tony Fontaine sings, he preaches. I'll never forget what he said. My gosh, this is going to be a long one, isn't it? Let me be sure I got the power supply on. Do I have the power supply on? Yeah, power supply is on. This is going to be a long one. I can tell because I want to cover so much. Tony Fontaine. He took, I think he took some singing lessons because they told him to. And I'm talking about on his way up to fame. You need to take some singing lessons, so he did. And he got so good at singing. And I had to have heard popular songs. That was all I was listening to. But he also sang classical, more of a classical song in nightclubs. Wasn't getting anywhere. This is before I met him. He wasn't getting anywhere, and what happened here is that the mafia contacted Tony Fontaine. He had great looks and great singing ability and great also had a great not only presence, but he was trainable. He was if he was approached by the mafia and the mafia wanted him to take some more singing lessons and polish himself up, he did. The mafia said to him, "You're not really going to get anywhere unless we go ahead and back you, because we got the nightclub circuit." He joined on to the mafia. Can you believe that? I tell you the honest goodness truth, I should have called this something else other than the title. So I'm going to be changing the title to include Tony Fontaine, because he was an auto act. He was number one star with the mafia and nightclubs, and he had an auto accident and couldn't sing for a few years. And he was so mad at God. Well, he didn't believe in God at that time. So he said to God, "If you'll restore my voice and heal me, I'll quit the mafia and just sing Christian songs." Would you like to know how hard it is to get out of the mafia once you join it? He's the only one I know that did. And his broken body and his singing, he couldn't sing for years. And he told God, if I'll be a Christian and sing songs for you, if 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 you'll help me, if you help me. Well, that included him getting out of the mafia, didn't it? Oh, brother, and the mafia doesn't let you out. Maybe with a bullet or two behind in your head. So here he comes when he starts singing again, and he gets better and better and better, and he decides he'll go out. And he told the mafia head man, I'm going to go into Christian singing, and I haven't started yet. I don't even know if I can sing that well, but I'm going to go out, and I'm going to just sing in Christian churches and wherever they wanted me. And they let him out and wished him good. This is the damn mafia telling him, have at it, man. You're out of our club, but we're going to be watching you, and we're going to be clapping our hands when we watch you on TV. How about that one? It's true. So he starts writing letters to all the Christian churches. They already knew he was in the mafia, had been in the mafia. They knew he was in an accident and couldn't sing for 3 years. Every church turned him down. I don't want to say every church, just according to the book I read. The churches, there's only one book on them that I know of, and they turned him down because they thought he was just doing it for money and fame again. They knew he was with the mafia, so he thought they said we don't want anything connected with the mafia. Not him. Well, no churches would see him. I saw him in the church. That's for a couple minutes from now. He sang on. He had a friend that had a TV show, Christian TV show, singing. He was invited on. It was such a success. He was invited on again and again, and then all of a sudden, other Christian networks started having him sing. A lot of them. Christian networks went worldwide. All of a sudden, it was not him having to write letters asking to go to their church. Letters were piling in for invitations for him to come and sing. And that's how I got to see him. he man, this is going to be a heck of a video. I don't think anybody's going to watch it through, but if you do, let me know because I'm covering too much. I started with sex, and here I am with the mafia and church. So, anyhow, I'm at Glendale Baptist Church in Bowling Green. It's an independent Baptist church, and I see an advertisement. He's going to be at a Methodist church right down the street. I go and I see him, and it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And he said, anybody that wants to talk to me or pray for me, stay after the service. And he actually held my hand and prayed for me, asked me what I wanted to do with my life. 1973, that's when last year of my college in Bowling Green at Western Kentucky University. He made a big impact on me, as you can tell, or I wouldn't be telling this story. I wouldn't have left my original topic and gone to this. Having said that, I'm going to save the rest of what I was going to talk about the stages of a man's life or a person's life, and deal with it at a different time. But at this point, the reason I'm stopping at this point is because a stage of people's lives changes from having fun, having sex in school, and as you're in your 20s. And then it starts going into what's really meaningful. That can be life-changing, or it may not be life-changing. That's where we're leaving it now. I'll tell you one thing Tony Fontaine told the congregation, and he was an atheist before the accident. But he told, and I'm going to end it in a minute after I say this. He said, all these churches are asking him, I want to know, he would preach for a week sometimes. Not just a day, but for a week at a church. I want to know exactly what you're going to preach on. I want an outline of it. And I'll never forget, he said, I'm sorry, I don't know what Jesus wants me to preach till I get at your church. I guess he got a lot of turn downs on that one. He says, I don't know what Jesus has in mind for the people in your church. Each person in your church is different. And Jesus wants to enter their life as they need to be at that time. And your sermon, the sermon, will be given by Jesus or the Lord God to affect the most people in your church. And I can't make a outline for you for every night. I thought that was neat. I thought that was great. How could he know? And why should any church, any church, tell him what he was going to preach on? Second thing, like I said, churches from over the country, probably over the world, writing to them, will you come and sing and do evangelistic work at our church? Second thing, you cannot give an invitation after your service and ask people to come forward to ask Jesus Christ to come into their life. I remember that. He said, I wrote to him and I said, I will never preach at a church where I can ask people to come forward to ask Jesus Christ to save them and make them their Lord and Savior. Well, what we remember, I had no idea I was going to go this way. I swear I was going to talk about sex. I did talk about sex, huh? Okay, thanks for watching. Now look, I know I'm up and down and all around with topics. That doesn't make me good, that doesn't make me bad. It lets me know that I'm going to be giving unedited, totally off the wall, but real and truthful. Now here's the thing to realize about me. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to make up stories. At least if I do, I'll tell you. What you hear is what you get. My gosh, I didn't turn on that light up there and you can see my eyes, can't you? I've got to have a better platform than this. Okay, so if you like it, I now have 48 subscribers. I checked on that. Got 48 subscribers. And I'm glad to have another one or two or three or four or five or 10. At one time I had 10 overnight. It jumped from, I think from 32 to 22, no, 32 to, well, 10 extras in one night. I have no idea what I talked on. But This is this is a difficult one for me to describe when I'm going to have to do this in the next 10 minutes. When here's how this works. I've done a video. I'll turn it off. I have to look and see what the number assigned to it is. Then I have to click it off. Then I gotta go to YouTube. I gotta go to my name, to my studio, and then go to download video. Then it has all my videos. If I have not written down what this video number is, guess what I've just spent a lot of time doing? It ain't good, because I don't know what video I just did. So when I get done with this, I've got to write down the video, which will be about 6, 7, 10 different numbers and letters and all this stuff. And I have to download it, and it will take approximately a half an hour to download it. While I'm downloading it, does it automatically. While I'm downloading it, I have to put the title and a description. And that is for adults only. And then there's tags. I've got to put tags on there. Tags could be Tony Fontaine, sex, stages of life. Those probably be the 3. I don't know what it does. I don't know if I get an extra viewer from it, but hey, I'm going to tell you the truth here. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to get people to watch me. I really don't. There's no one here in town that does this but me, that I know of. So it's pure luck if you have seen me now. It is pure luck, or some other providence, some other, what can I say? Luck. It's luck if you've seen me. But let me invite you to make you number 39 as my subscriber. Okay. What a video this is. We've gone approximately 44 minutes. Longer than most any I've done, and I don't know how to describe it, but you describe it any way you want. Have a blessed week.